All right, so here we are. We're live. We're live. So I've been reading all the comments already. So we will do this listening party, listening to the new album, Theory of Mind, and I will be here to answer all the questions, to comment, to give some idea how I create the songs or which guitars I use, and anything you want to know. Just want to say hi to everyone here, my friends. Hi, yes, Dan, Chris, Andre, Mark da Silva, Hey Vox, Luciano. So just let me know if you guys can hear me well and all that. So, yeah. Thank you so much for all the questions and the comments. Yeah. So let me know where guys are from, like London. I know some Seattle here, some Canada, some, yeah. Okay, today I would do this listening party in English, and tomorrow at the same time in Portuguese for my fellow Brazilians. Yeah, so the idea here is to listen to the album, and I will be reading the questions, and at the end of the song I can answer a few questions and give my comments, and at the end of the album, which takes around 46 minutes, I guess, or 50 minutes, I stay here to answer all the questions you guys may ask. All right, so let's get started. So the first song of this album, Theory of Mind. Well, first of all, let's talk about all the people involved on this album, which was Adair Daufembach producing and recording of the guitars and drums, and on drums Bruno Valverde, on the bass Felipe Andreoli, longtime partners. I love the way they play. They understand my music. They get excited about my music. So it's great to work with them. The artwork was made by Gustavo Sazes, the same designer who did Open Source. Photo by Rika Wenzel. I can talk about the photos as well later. What else? And then Jacob Hansen, mixing and mastering. Yeah, so, and Maria Ilmoniemi helping me with the keyboards. So basically, yeah. And then also Yuri recorded here in Finland. I recorded some acoustic guitar with Yuri. So yeah, so those are the people that helped me to create this album and to make this happen. So let's get started. The first one is Borderliner. And it kind of starts differently than other albums that normally have like some sort of an intro, some sound design or some orchestration or something like that. This one starts right away with a chaotic phrase, more like a wake-up call kind of thing, and then it goes to like a straight guitar riff, which is based on the samba music, Brazilian music. And then the verse is a bit chaotic. I guess it's how my brain works, I guess. And yeah, and then we can talk about the rest later. So let's see. Yeah. So yeah, this is the first one, the opening track, Borderliner, and as I said, it was a bit chaotic, right? So, but that was the idea at the end, to make it kind of chaotic. And I'm singing there. I don't know if you noticed. So during the verse, I kind of sing on I created, instead of using keyboards. I thought it would be cool to sing. Yeah, so let me see here. So yeah, so we will have the songbook with the backing tracks, and everything is on pre-sale now in my store. So don't worry about that. Yeah. So let's go for the second one, right? So Out or Nothing. So that was the first single. I thought it was a kind of some songs are a bit more complex, so I thought this one was not that complex as other ones, and also would be a good one to start. Has a direct riff, start with this tritone, which is like this dissonant interval, pretty metal. If you want to play metal, you need to know this interval. And so the whole song's kind of based on that, the contrast of using this dissonant interval and the melodies that goes, creates like contrast with that dissonant interval. Then I use like a very common chord progression that sounds very, very pleasing, let's say. So it creates that contrast. So here we go. All right, so I was reading some questions here. Yeah, so Tall Lin, how was that open up effect towards the end of the main riff? So actually, in my Guitar Academy, I was showing, I did a lesson about this song already. I kind of, I was like muting and then kind of opening with my palm. So we have this opening effect, but it was not enough the way I wanted. And then Adair had this idea of programming like some sort of a wah pedal, but it's this like digitally to have this open effect. So it's a mix of the way I play with some wah pedal, but programmed, because it would be, it would be very hard to do the same thing, using the wah pedal. Yeah, so great stuff, great stuff. I hope my mic's better, otherwise I can talk closer to the mic. Thanks so much for the nice words about the song. Yeah, let's keep going, right? So like Ivan Marin, so when I start composing, where do I begin? So sometimes like it depends, right? Every song has a different story. Like this one, out of nothing, I just wanted to have this very simple tritone idea. So the idea was like, okay, I can play this tritone, which is very nasty, because just the interval, I'm really into the intervals. People, of course, the intervals and the scales and the chords, etc. Of course, everything, rhythms, but when you go like deep into the interval, so the feeling of each interval. It's like you have different colors, right? So I knew this would be like a nasty kind of interval. Black Sabbath, started his first songs, first album with that interval as well. So Diabolos in Musica, right? So I said, well, so if I start with this, could be just like a good element to start. And then I start playing that interval using just a normal straight riff, but using the slides that gives you a different feeling, And then I transpose the same interval to from A to D, and then the song started like this from this riff. And then I thought, well, I always think, and when I teach, when I in the Guitar Academy or the mentorship, I always think like how. So one thing is like think the opposite. What would be the opposite for the next part? And then the opposite could be many things, right? One of the things that I was thinking would be to play something very known diabolic or known tritone. That would be like the perfect fifth. So that's what I did with the arpeggios, and so the song starts to have some shape, because then you have an intro, you have a riff, you have a melody with a like more nice and beautiful arpeggios, A minor and E major, and then other ideas comes later. In the middle of the song, you have this moment. We have the classical guitar, and you have like all those arpeggios as well. So it's more like a development of the first ideas. So this happens in most of the songs. Once you have 2-3 nice ideas nice for me, like ideas that I like, I start trying to develop those ideas into something else, And then sometimes it goes like completely different. Sometimes it's related. So in this case, the solo moment, the arpeggios are related to that main riff, the intro riff, but then with a lot of arpeggios, a lot of notes. All right, so let's go for the next one, Mind Rise. That was also my second single, and I saw the question from I think it was Skylar. I was asking why I decided to use as a second single Mind Rise. I think it was also because it was like a very direct song, and it's like a melody that's I don't know if it's catchy, but it's like, for me at least, it's like easy to understand. So, and that is a song that I liked since the beginning. It was one of the first songs I wrote. So, yeah. So, let's check Mind Rise. right, so yeah, Mind Rise. So I'm putting a little bit of the explanations regarding the titles of the songs here on the chat. And yeah, so this is a bit more direct song, right? Oops, a bit more direct song. Easy, kind of direct first riff. And then I was mentioning it's kind of Jeff Beck with some groovy, like Santana, I guess, something like that. The way I play, I try to bring those elements as well, So, but I was thinking a lot about Jeff Beck. Jeff Beck has sometimes he plays some like the old stuff, playing like a reggae, some different styles of music. So I had this in mind somehow when I was playing this melody. And something very direct. The chorus is very simple, easy to play, by the way. So it's a great song to try to play, I guess. Then there are some fast runs during the solo. Also, I used like in the middle section some kind of, for me it's Van Halen, like when those staccato. I used this in Angra, like there's a song called Waiting Silence. So I use that technique that comes from that 80s Van Halen, but it's a bit faster, I guess. And I always like that sound that you can get playing staccato with the guitars, like fifths. And then the solo comes and I kind of bring back the melody, but then it's in a different mode. So it feels like, feels different, but feels familiar to repeat the same melody, the same motif of the melody during the solo, which is a cool thing, which is like I don't know, maybe it's a jazz thing, like when you bring back the melody, at least for sure it's a Wayne Shorter thing, to bring back during the improvisation, you bring back the main melody of the song. So you're like, oh, that's the song I'm playing, you kind of, but maybe you use the same melody of the song in a different context, or the same motif of the melody in a different context. So I think it's fun to play with those things. And in this case, I thought it worked really well. Yeah, so the next one is Talking Dreams. It's like the ballad of the album, but it's not really, because it has is a ballad with a plot twist, So because it's heavy, starts in a heavy way, but the theme is pretty melodic, I would say, and I'm using a classical guitar to give like that sweet tone, I would say, and but then it goes to another kind of psycho, I don't know, Hitchcock kind of psycho moment during the song as well. But yeah, let's check this one, Talking Dreams. Yes. All right, this one was Talking Dreams. So I'm going to put my main camera here. Talking Dreams. And yeah, so it's a simple melody. Somebody mentioned, sometimes I see you guys mentioning some stuff that I have no idea. Maybe like video games or some names that I have no idea what it is. But Satriani, you know. So yeah, for sure. I don't know about which song from Satriani, but Satriani is for sure is a great, big influence on my way of playing and writing songs and the approach to melodies. You know, if you think about Joe Satriani and also and Jeff Beck, but I would say that Satriani, Jeff Beck played a lot of covers. I would say his own songs as well. Satriani is a great composer, and then it's like the approach. It's like the simpler, like the simpler, the simpler the better. So also when you play a melody, you don't play licks or fancy stuff in between. So that's like very, like Satriani style. When you imagine the guitar singing. So there's like we guitar players, we tend to play a melody and then try to play a fancy lick or like a fast phrase or add some stuff in between. But no, when you're playing the melody, like in this case, the chorus is just a melody, just wait for the solo moment, So that's the way I think it's Satriani does that, like he's a master, doing the structure of a song, understanding when is the solo time, when is the melody time, even if you're playing guitar, and then the guitar is the main instrument the whole time, right? So it's not because you're playing guitar the whole time that you're going to be soloing the whole time. You have the moment for the riff, you have the moment for the verse, the chorus, you have the moment for the guitar solo, improvisation, whatever. And then in the case of this song was like it's mainly one note, the melody, and then when you have like fewer notes and then you change chords, those notes they change their relation with the chords. So it always gives a interesting feeling, a nice feeling. And then also it sounds a little bit more modern the way this melody in a way, because the modern artists, I mean pop artists, big names, that's the way they've been doing melodies nowadays, So this song has this approach of simple, fewer notes, and very repetitive melody, which is very modern in a way. And now the songs, I try to go a bit more old school, to be very melodic with longer melodies. But I can show you when the songs that has that come. Yeah, so good stuff. So yeah, what else? Yeah, so let's go for the next one then. So the next one is Blindfolded. How do I usually come with the song names? At first you have working titles. So whatever helps you to remember, I don't remember the working titles now. I get very confused with the working titles and the final titles. Sometimes can be the name of a band because the riff or the melody reminds you of a band or reminds you or whatever. If you're writing the song on Sunday, you say Sunday afternoon, the name of the song, or something that helps you to remember which idea are you talking about. Sometimes just it's a 6/8 song. Sometimes it's like if it's a song with a different meter, 5/8, you might even use as a working title. But then you start listening to the ideas, even when it's not ready. The song doesn't need to be ready, but you listen to the ideas back and then understand. It's some sort of a feedback loop. You create something, and then that you like, and then because you like that thing, you try to analyze yourself why you like that thing or why you decided that heavy riff or that a weird interval, or that beautiful melody, or that simple or intricate, whatever it is, why you decided to use that, So the music's telling me who I am, basically, So the music that I play and I choose, I'm choosing those ideas because I believe they represents me, or represents that feeling of the day, of the month, and then I kind of think and reflect about the ideas, the song ideas, and then I start thinking like, okay, so this song gives me that kind of feeling, and then I think about the name of the song, And then in the case of this album, it was composed throughout the last year. Some ideas before that, and then it was a interesting year for me, because it was the year I started going to Japan to play with Megadeth, and I went to Canada, and then I came back and I started recording the rhythm guitars for the album, and then I went on tour again, and then the whole year I was like reflecting about not being Megadeth anymore. So it's like, of course, it was not an easy decision. So I think all those feelings, my whatever was going on my brain, and then family and other, private matters and situations, and being in a different country, the whole thing, makes you emotionally unbalanced, and then you just use music to help you navigate those moments. So, and then that's why also the name of the songs are kind of related to that, even the name of the album, Theory of Mind. So, yeah. So let's keep going. Blindfolded now. right, so Blindfolded. I was taking some notes about some stuff because I recorded the guitars in like in January, February this year, and then keyboards March, you know, March, April, and then the mixing and stuff. And then I went, uh, you know, on tour. I did the Helsinki guitar camp, did all the stuff, and then I decided to release the album now. It was pretty hard to wait all this time with the album done. I just wanted just like let's upload the whole album, and but to do a proper release and take care of everything you need to take care. You need some time. You cannot be on tour or doing all this stuff at the same time. So this song, yeah. So it starts. The end of the song is like is the intro reversed, actually. So that's a little thing, little cool thing, I remember like in the demo I did that. I was trying to get like and then Adair did it like basically reversing the intro, um, and yeah, I'm using the 8 strings there. There's like this Van Halen. For me, it's Van Halen, because there's like this groove. It's kind of a Brazilian groove, and then I kind of use the sounds of the guitar, making some noises. That's very Van Halen. Before you start the solo, right? What else? And then you have that fast run at some point, and the main riff. It kind of reminds me of Lamb of God, I guess, because I did 2 tours with them, and when you do a tour with a band, then you stay like 2 months on the road, and then you basically listen to their music every night, and you see them playing, and it's like, so I don't know. The notes are not the same. It's just the energy somehow, like the feeling of that energy they have on stage. So that's when I was playing that riff. It's like, oh, it's kind of Lamb of God, I guess. I don't know if it is, or like Pantera kind of thing. So what else? What else from? There's something that I noticed that I use in some of the songs. That kind of when I repeat the chorus at the end, I kind of improvise a little bit, or I like to add 1 or 2 different chords. So the chorus is it's the same, but has a little twist at the end, so just to give some sort of different feeling at the end. I don't know. So it's always for me it's necessary, because otherwise if you play like 2 or 3 choruses during the song, it might be boring, I guess, to repeat exactly the same. So you can always, but you cannot change the chorus because it's the chorus. So if you add like one little thing, it's gonna make the final chorus special. Sometimes can be like 2 guitars playing the melodies. Sometimes can be a different chord in the harmony. So that's something that I think a lot. Well, all the songs, like there's a lot of I think a lot about the songs, I have to say. All right, so the next one, Point of No Return. So this one is it starts with this it's a V12 Ferrari, but the idea of the song started with I want to do something like very 80s, that fast scales kind of. Everybody was doing it. I was a kid, I would say, and then it's like everybody was like playing, Yngwie Malmsteen, Steve Vai, Satriani, Paul Gilbert, Vinnie Moore, like those fast patterns and fast runs, and then I thought, wow, it would be cool to do something like that, because that's my main influence, So then the song started like that with those fast scales, very linear, but then it evolved to something completely different, because the verse you see is kind of weird, because I was trying different melodies. I think this was the most difficult song to compose. I think till the last minute I was trying different melodies for the verse. I was not sure about it, to make it something very 80s and very melodic. Then I was like, maybe not. Then I remember I was getting Adair, he was like close because this is that's my own studio room here. So I was getting him and driving with him every morning, and I was showing him some fusion bands and stuff, you know. And then I was like, oh, you have to listen to Miles Davis from the 80s, Miles Davis from the 80s. And then it's like, oh, and Miles Davis had all those melodies, this scale called diminished dominant. And then it's like, oh, I could try to do something like Miles Davis, you know. I know I'm getting a bit, you know, nerd here with these names of scales. But so that was the idea behind. Then I tried, and then, you know, and then I was like, okay, this is different, because when you're thinking about an album, you want to have different songs with different ideas coming from different places, different influences somehow, and then it's like, oh, okay, let's go with this one, you know. So, and the song starts with, so I'm playing guitar. I use a Les Paul there because of fixed bridge and a slide. I have the Darius slide here. I don't play blues. I don't know how to use the slide, but at least for this, I use the slide to mimic the Ferrari V12. And luckily, Adair, he's a Formula One fan, and then he knew everything about it. And then it was like we started watching videos from Ayrton Senna, and that, you know, during the 90s, you know, the noisy Ferrari V12, and then I was like learning the pitches, the notes, right, of the different gears, you know, sixth gear, fifth gear, and then where, you know, how to mimic that sound. So then that's the intro, and during the song, in the middle of the song, it happens again, you know. I could, you know, it could be easier just to to download the sound of the actual car, but I thought it was cooler to play with the guitar. All right, so here we go. right. So yeah, that's a tough one to play, I guess, huh? Let's see how to play those songs live. Um, that's another problem. It's a problem for later. But yeah, so I was reading the comments. It's interesting because sometimes the guys just mention some bands and names that I have no idea. But I was sometimes I'm putting like some name of artists that kind of you know I have in mind sometimes when I hear it now. It's like, oh, this is a bit, like this Jakey Lee, but it's like just because of just a little thing, or I mentioned like cacophony. Um, Sometimes even just the way if I play one band kind of takes me to that place. But most of the references, if you see what I'm mentioning here, is 80s, 70s, you know. Yeah, because the time I was like really into. I mean, I still into listening to guitar players, but back then I was like super like learning and watching and like a real aficionado about guitars. Now I just play and I let those influences shine somehow, and then mix them somehow, with other stuff as well. As I said, like Miles Davis, the themes like kind of a Miles Davis style, but not because yeah, 80s, or 70s, the fusion, the times from Miles Davis. Um, and all the players that played with him. There's another guy that I love so much, Robin Ford, is a blues player, but he played with Miles, and then he uses that scale as well, and whole tone scale or diminished dominant scale. So I have a different style. Yeah, and also this Formula One thing, it was kind of cool. I did an event like a long time ago in Brazil with Barrichello, the Formula One driver. He was on stage, I was on stage as well, and I had to play with my guitar. I think it was like one of his famous laps. So I was watching the lap, and then I was like trying to go with with that camera that's like point of view of the driver. It was a cool event. So I was like practicing this so much. And then I mentioned that to Adair, and then we have this idea. We could try to, somewhere to add this idea into the album. All right. Robin, who, Rubinho, Barrichello. I think internationally he's is Rubens. Barrichello is a Formula One driver that came after Ayrton Senna. And then he is like he had a record of the I don't know, I don't remember like he was the driver who stayed the longer, at least back then, at least like 15 years ago. Anyways, yeah. Okay, so let's again. I see you guys sometimes asking who's playing. So Bruno Valverde has the amazing drums. What can I say? It's like as I mean, he's amazing. And Felipe Andreoli on bass. So those two guys that I've been playing with a long time, and yeah, they're just phenomenal musicians and artists. And what else? I was about to say something. I forgot now. About I saw the Night Walker question about the 8-string guitar. I know he's asking about the challenging of mixing 8 strings guitar and bass. Yeah, there's that too. But the idea of using 8 strings guitar or like lower tunings is more like I like standard tuning. I like 6 strings guitar, but when you start creating this, you start thinking about the sound of the album. You start thinking about the different possibilities for the songs. Can you change the guitars? I play in a certain way. So for me to explore different ways of playing, and I think I'm already trying to explore ways of playing regarding the techniques, but there's some sort of a limitation there. So And I don't want to start playing like all the styles of music just to show that it sounds different. So one way to sound a bit more modern is to use 8 strings or just like drop tunings, you know. So there's songs with D standard, drop C, 8 strings, because if you think in the 90s, I think the first, in Brazilian music, you have 7 strings, I don't know, since the 40s, you know, is a very popular instruments to play 7 strings acoustic guitar. But the electric guitar, I think, started in the 90s, at the late 80s. Bands like Korn or Steve Vai was using 7 strings, and then Sepultura with Blurry Roots, you know, the Roots album also was tuning down to B, so it's basically a 7 strings guitar. So this is more like 90s sound, and then after that, most of the bands, metal bands, they use drop tunings, you know, drop C, drop D, then 7 strings, and then later 8 strings. So for me, a way to sound a bit more modern is to use those instruments, you know, 8 strings or try different tunings, because it gives me more more different, you know, possibilities, you know, sound-wise, you know, not that I will be using like the range of the 8 strings, but to have, you know, to have this bass in my hands somehow. All right, so Raveled. This name, it could be also like a tribute to Ravel, the composer, because I'm a big fan of Ravel. So let's listen to this one. This is a little bit different from the other ones. This song started with that acoustic intro. I was playing that thing, I like it, and then I was just like, how can I make a song with that intro? And another thing that crossed my mind, but I can talk about this later, otherwise I talk too much. All right, so here we go. Yeah, that's a tough one, huh? Tough one to play. But actually, it's kind of fusion. For me, it's like very fusion. The idea was to go as fusion as possible. 70s fusion, in a way, some sort of, and the flamenco, yeah. And then the whole thing started with that acoustic. But what was crossing my mind when I had this intro, as the acoustic intro. Then I was thinking like all the modern bands, they have a thing that is because they create music in the computer, and then I'm still like creating music like I used to do, in the 90s, and then 2000s, or like in a rehearsal room with other musicians, right? And then I was thinking like, no, I don't need to do that, right? So because when we think of acoustic guitar, and then people were mentioning some songs that I composed, the Angra, or Du Monde from Open Source, or Conquer or Die from Megadeth. So those songs, they start with classical guitar, but it's as an intro. The classical guitar, when the band comes in, the classical guitar leaves the room, because a classical guitar will never be able to compete sonically with a metal drummer, or bass or lead guitars, big tube amp, right? So, but that's a mindset from the past, even like clean guitars. You think like, okay, a clean guitar is always for a ballad when the drummer's like playing with some dynamics or intros. But when the band comes in, it's very hard to keep a clean guitar. So, and you see modern bands using a very clean tone with heavy drums, heavy guitars, etc. Of course, because if you're creating everything in the computer, the way you compose is different now. And then I think the composition techniques, they change because of technology as well. And then, the whole music history tells us that, since Bach with the well-tempered clavier, and then, the whole evolution of the technology throughout the years, throughout the centuries, with the brass and, saxophone, and then keyboards, and even the evolution of the piano, and the pickups, electricity, etc. So I was thinking like, why not keeping the acoustic guitar, the classical guitar, throughout the whole song? Even if you add 8 strings, lead guitars, heavy drums, distorted bass, so, and then you create that sound that in the past would be impossible, right? So that was the idea behind of keeping the classical guitar throughout the whole song, even having a solo, acoustic solo. And then I remember to record this. I wanted to have this flamenco moment for the classical guitar, for the solo, and I was like, how Paco de Lucia would do it, it's so hard, because you might think like, oh, the flamenco would just play like fast runs, but actually no. And then I remember there's a Brazilian singer and composer, Djavan, and then one of his most famous songs, Paco de Lucia plays a solo. And then I remember that, and I think like that the other song from what's the name of the guy? Brian Adams, the Canadian composer and singer. I think there's also the solo from Paco de Lucia there. So I went to those songs to see like how Paco would play a solo in a pop and pop song, and then I was like, yeah. So it's more like that flamenco thing, I don't know. That's. So I went to this when I was like really, I went to the songs and those Brian Adams songs, the Djavan songs, and a little bit of some flamenco stuff. So, okay, so how can I do like this short, flamenco moment here. Of course, I would love to have Paco as a guest, but it's not possible. The acoustic guitar they are all nylon. Actually, this album has no steel guitar. Only nylon, only classical guitar. Am I thinking about creating a piano album? I think it's interesting, the questions, like, are you thinking about having a band with this and this, or like you're doing a piano? It's like, I think a lot of, I think I'm thinking about a lot of stuff all the time. But now is the time of this album, maybe I'm thinking about having, I don't know, like a band with whatever, what is that? Playing a piano album? I don't think so, but do you think the evolution of song recording and the way of composing has led to less quality musicians? No, I don't think so. I think you have a lot of amazing musicians nowadays. I think it's just different. I think if you look, if you imagine the composers from 200 years ago, they would have some skills that we don't have it anymore, because we have the computer. But the new players, they know how to record themselves. They know how to mix themselves, to produce themselves. To use to create drums and orchestration, etc. Because you have the technology with you. So I think it's just different. I'm a big fan of a lot of new musicians and composers. Vicente Amigo, yeah. I know of, Vicente Amigo, yes, and Paco. And I always mention Paco, but Vicente Amigo, Tomatito, I remember like listening to those albums as well. Can you review who will be playing these songs? I'm not thinking about live gigs, no, but hopefully it will be possible to play with Bruno and Felipe, the same band that recorded the album. It's always the ideal to play with the band that recorded the album, because they are amazing musicians and they played the songs, so it's going to sound very close to the original, But it's not always possible, because they play in other, in other bands, and they have other things going on, so it really depends, But I always try my best to play with Bruno and Felipe. All right, so let's keep going. Okay, the next one. So some people were asking about the CDs and the vinyl and the tabs. In the description, I have the link of the store with a 20% discount, I guess. Yeah, and just. I will sign the CDs, the ones I sent from Finland, so I can sign, I can do whatever you want, So basically, in the Kiko Loureiro store.com, you can find everything there. The vinyl is a double vinyl, because to fit all the songs, it's a double vinyl, and you have 2 different colors for the vinyls and the CDs. I already start signing the CDs, so I'm signing. Have to sign a lot of CDs, but it's part of the. It's fun. I like doing that, And what else? The tabs and more merch ideas will come later, of course. And then in the Guitar Academy, for sure, I will be discussing. This Monday, we're going to do like some sort of a live streaming, but going deeper into the music aspects, harmony and techniques and guitar techniques, like nerd stuff, more musician, guitarist kind of conversation. So this is on the Guitar Academy this Monday. And then probably we will start showing more and more of those songs for the members of the Guitar Academy, besides all the courses that are there and the master classes there we have there. All right, so now Lost in Seconds. Here we go. All right. What about this? The Felipe like playing with me the final phrase, and the man is insane. He can double all the all my guitar phrases with the fingers. It's like amazing, amazing. Um, it's hard to say that, but Felipe is like by far like the best metal rock bass player in this planet. But yeah. All right. So yeah. So that's this song. Let's talk about this song, "Lost in Seconds." Is how you feel when you start using the TikTok. So actually, um, it's like this. The name came from this feeling that you like the addiction to technology, and then you just disconnect from reality because you get into this whatever YouTube, TikTok. I'm not a TikTok guy, but anyway, so TikTok, Instagram, and right. So yeah, so that's we got lost. Um, so yeah, this song, the melody of the the chorus is basically a pentatonic thing. It's like very simple, but I'm using pentatonics in a different way. So it sounds very familiar because it's a universal scale. The pentatonic. Yeah, you have like this heavy riff is D standard, so it's lower tuning, so it gives that heaviness. I've been playing with Megadeth was always with D standard, so I kind of got used to that sound as well. So I like that sound of the guitar tuned down, not too much, but for Megadeth the case was for Dave's voice, the reason, but also gave this extra heaviness to the guitar. You lose a little bit of the brightness of the strings a little bit. I guess, some harmonics, but it's fun too. So Lost in Seconds. All right, so next one. Also, let me read a little bit. Yeah, this the riffs are Megadeth. Yeah, some some because those riffs, those ideas, they came. I was playing with Megadeth and I was touring, so in between tours, coming back home and then playing. So of course they are completely influenced by Megadeth, and they're completely influenced by all the bands that I was playing while on tour. The festivals, because there's no way not to be influenced by. As a person, you're gonna be influenced by, if you move to a different city, to a different country, you might start speaking with a different accent a little bit, or there's no other way. So and music is a reflection of what your life is. So yeah, so that's why I mentioned like Lamb of God, because I was on tour with them and I was watching every night their concerts, or even if you're backstage, you can hear them sound check, or you can hear them playing, or even other bands, with Five Finger Death Punch and Trivium or Slipknot, many other bands that I had the chance to play with or tour with, so sometimes, even if you don't want, you hear a riff, you hear like some sort of energy when you play, it will be there. But of course, it's combined with I might be playing some flamenco stuff, as you noticed in the other song, and then this also comes mixed with this metal influenced by the tours, or when you go in big festivals and you have the chance to watch so many different bands, or when you go to guitar events, then you have the chance to play with other guitarists, or watch guitar clinics from friends, so like I was in Brazil this summer, right in June, and then I had the chance to play with Zach Wild. It was cool, to see him playing. So of course, there's no way not to be affected by his playing and his presence and his tone and the whole thing. So the album reflects a little bit of everything. So yeah, I like when you guys mention some names. Um, Mastodon, no. Actually, no. Let me see what else here. Gary Moore. Yeah, Gary Moore's another one that I really like. Good stuff, good stuff. Let's go for the next one. The Other Side of Fear. Here we go. Yes, The Other Side of Fear. This one is drop C. Yeah, it's pretty low, right? Pretty low. Yeah. How much for lessons? you have the Guitar Academy. I'm always there, so just join us. I think the link is on the description there too. So let me see here. I have too many things going on here. All right, so yeah. Let me. I can do this. Yeah, just join us at the Guitar Academy. So on Monday we're gonna have a conversation about those songs, a bit more in depth regarding song structure or chords and guitar techniques, and answering those questions. Yeah, this song is the drop C, the melody. Somebody was asking like what kind of scales that's like. There was the chorus was just a minor scale, nothing fancy, nothing fancy. Yeah, I noticed, also it was always good to like this video and also to share this video with your friends and all the guitar players. Yeah, it's always good, right? And then also to leave your comment also in the comments area is always good, so we can read later whatever you think about the album, the songs, or leave more questions. I can probably make some other videos about answering your questions. If I like Eric Johnson, yeah, of course. Yeah, Eric Johnson is there to represent it somehow. All my songs, with the cleans and open triads, things that I like a lot. Steve Morse, Eric Johnson. I mean, like all those guitar players that I grew up listening to them. Yeah. Let's see here, some questions. If I get inspiration from Judas Priest, I guess so. Well, there's no way. Also because I did tour with them, and then I grew up listening to some Judas Priest. So, yeah. I mean, Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple. It's all there. It's all there. It's all there. Somehow, Steve Vai, somebody. I'm just reading the names. Steve Vai, Satriani. Those 80s, 70s, for sure influenced me a lot. Some more like those when you guys mentioned some movies or some video games, and then I don't know, or series, because I don't know much about series or video games. So the links for the stores here, like there's a store that I signed the albums that comes from here, from Finland. I would sign the albums and ship the albums and the vinyls from here. And also in Brazil, we're going to have, but then it's not going to be signed because it's going to be the CDs and vinyls will be made in Brazil to distribute in Brazil, because sending stuff internationally to Brazil is just too complicated. It was like Gojira, Polyphia, Måneskin, Bring Me the Horizon. I know all those bands, I really like Gojira, Polyphia, Måneskin. I don't know much. I know the big hits. Bring Me the Horizon. I don't know much about them. I know some big names, but big songs. Sorry. Yeah, but somehow influences you, because that's what's happening now. It's the same goes with pop songs. The other day I was listening because we do have the mentorship, and then I just go as a, how do you say, like research to understand what's going on. And then I saw like Billie Eilish has a new album. So like, okay, let's put the new album from Billie Eilish, and then let's see how is the melody or the harmony of the new album of a big pop star, and then you kind of, that's, you kind of analyze. It's more like an analysis. It's not like, sometimes I like the song too. It's not that I don't like the song. It's more like sometimes you go and listen to some artists as analyzing what's going on, what's like nowadays, what is happening, because then it makes it's like, oh, they're doing this, Normally, it's kind of okay to analyze. It's easy to understand what's going on, and then you see the trends, how they use harmony, how they use melodies. I think there's a trend or how to create melodies in pop. I'm talking about pop music in general. But yeah, the thrash metal is a different thing, So, let me say, what else? It's good to listen to all music. Yeah, I like to listen to. Sometimes I listen because I like. Sometimes I listen because I'm curious to know about that specific artist. And most of the time, I'm very open to enjoy music of all kinds. How do you organize your composition process? Handwritten checklists. No, in this album I was not very. I just let it flow. You can do that. You can do that like, oops. You can take notes. I want to do a ballad. I need a ballad. I need a fast song. I need a darker song. I need a bluesy song. Whatever, You can make plans before you have the songs. It could be. I didn't do that this time. If you notice, this album doesn't have songs that some songs like dreamlike or reflective or no gravity. Some songs that has a specific style, and I noticed that throughout the process. It's like then I kind of tried to write something like that, but it didn't happen. It was nothing happened. And then I kind of trust the process. I kind of trust whatever I feel. I that's what I record. If a good song in a specific way doesn't show up, so it is what it is, maybe another album will have a lot of happy major ballads, it might be different, So that's the way I see when because it's very there's some sort of a intimacy when you create songs, because you're like showing what you like, who you are at that specific period, So I don't try to force things that are not natural, because I'm not trying to have a million plays. I'm not depending on whatever, management or big labels or have to write a song for a specific movie or something like that, So it's really like my own journal, It's like opening for you my journal. All right, so let's keep going. This one, the Barefoot Queen. This is based on a rhythm, a groove, a style of flamenco, which I'm not familiar, But I kind of like, okay, what if I try to do something like this rhythm called buleria, and it's a 6/8 groove, and then so was the intention here with this melody. Again, it's like a long melody, so it kind of differs from the songs like Talking Dreams. That was like a very simple and modern way of making melodies. This one has a chorus that has more this, let's say, maybe old school, like Queen, longer melodic lines. It's just longer. I'm always like that. Ennio Morricone, or Tchaikovsky or something like that, So like a longer melodic line, which is very difficult. It's very difficult. It's something that I want to develop my songwriting skills to make like longer, beautiful melodies like classical composers. And you don't see that in modern pop music or metal. Metal is a different thing. You don't see that at all, I guess. But Queen would be a great example, I would say, or maybe the prog bands from the 70s and 80s. All right, so here we go. The Barefoot Queen. Yeah, the Barefoot Queen. So, yeah, let me check the questions here. And yeah, that's a difficult song, huh? So the buleria, that's you have to count in a specific way. But you know, it was difficult. Was difficult. It's gonna be fun to play this. But yeah, fun time. So this one I had this melody, and then but the this intro. So I was like playing the piano. So I remember kind of doing this, you know, using the keyboards with my poor technique. But it's sometimes I go to other instruments like the piano or a keyboard. So I'm using the pizzicato there in the middle of the song. So it gives me a different vibe, different flavors, right? So what is going on here? To help me to create, you know, my songs. Tigre Hamazian, yeah, that's a guy that I really like as well. It's very influential as well. This is for sure. And then fusion music in general, but yeah, he's amazing. So yeah, let's keep going here. So the last one, right? So let me see here. The harmony implicit in this song, yeah, I really like harmony. So in general, like, so it has to have something interesting somehow. Sometimes I'm afraid to be too complicated or to choose too many elements, but yeah, but you know, so but somehow I use everything that I know, you know, because it's like if you have all those tools, and why not use them, you know? When you're trying to find something different, what kind of tool I can get, you know? So in this, and sometimes it's just in this case the melody of the chorus of this song, I was like a piano thing, you know, because it takes me out of the guitar. So it's for me it's very helpful to play other instruments. It can be acoustic guitar as well, you know. Also changing the environment and going to another room. I mean, just going to the living room or like to another room, you know. So you go to another room, and then you play the instrument there, and you get out of that looking at the computer, you know, like the Pro Tools, you know. And then you go to the piano, you get an acoustic guitar, and then you stay with that melody in your head, but it's like something is not right. You have this feeling, and then you go and play, and then this is a never-ending search, you know. That's the way I do it, you know. I believe that some songs were fast. Some songs they happen in an afternoon, most of the songs. Some other songs, you have to, this one, the Barefoot Queen, so I was like, it's like how to do this, how would be the drums, you know. I was playing with acoustic guitar, so how can a band play that without sounding very fusion, you know? And then you have this 2/5, which is like a normal, very jazz cadence. I remember Maria, my wife, she came like, "Are you gonna use this 2/5s like this?" That's what happens when you get married with a musician. You're gonna use this 2/5s? Like, no, yeah. I think it's okay to use a very basic 2/5, you know, and in the pre-chorus, and then it's like, yeah, why not, you know? So I don't have 2/5s in during the, you know, throughout the album. So it's very jazzy, kind of almost cheesy, you know, from some people. But I thought it fits, you know. And the final results, I don't think it's cheesy. I hope. But anyways, all right. So also another thing regarding Maria Ilmoniemi. So the keyboards, there's another thing that is really fun to do it. And then let's play the last one. And the last one has a lot of keyboards. All the songs has a lot of keyboards, I would say. Some more, some less, you know. So at least 3 to 4 different sounds of keyboards every song, or some sound design, or some layers. Sometimes you mix like 2 or 3 sounds together to make one sound. Yeah, so it's a fun thing. It takes a lot of time because I'm not like a super pro doing this. So it takes me time to find the sounds, and yeah, going navigate through the plugins, and then how to add keyboards that, you know, add something to the song, you know, some depth to the song, you know, which we normally don't have in thrash metal. You know, we have a little bit, you know. In Megadeth, I did some orchestration here and there, but not much. It's fun. I like to do that. So on my songs, I can go like full, it's like exaggerate, you know. So this one, Finitude, is the last one, last song of the album. And I have some nice pads, and also like Rhodes with full of delays to get this atmosphere, so it gets mixed with the guitar. And the song, the melody of this song, actually almost the whole song was made during the pandemic times. And I was playing piano. I have many ideas playing piano, like simple stuff, because I'm not a pianist, so I don't have all the skills. So I was playing this thing, and then I like kids around, like, you know, house noise. And then I remember, like, I was listening to the ideas, and then I was like, I like that. You know, I liked it, although it was very simple. And then I was like, I tried to transform this as like a ballad, but I was not sure how to do that because the melody was too simple. In the end, we gave this more modern, knowing Bruno, this more modern way of playing drums, right? That in this case, this song is like more into those modern bands like Animals Leaders or Tesseract, or the ways like going that the drums are working, because the melody is too simple. So I thought, like, well, we have to create something more interesting underneath the melody for the song to succeed, you know, because I really wanted to have this song as the final song of the album, the Finitude. All right, so yeah, Poisonous Shadows has the piano there at the end. Yeah. Oh man, I remember like recording this Poisonous the Shadows piano part at the studio there, like many takes, because, you know, I'm not a pianist. So it's like, and then, but there's something about like not being a great pianist, like, you know, kind of clumsy, and then you have something. It's like guitar players the same, you know. Sometimes the guy was too much technique, is too clean, too perfect, and then it's not what the song needs, you know. All right, so let's do this. The last one. Yes. Now, that's the end. That's the end. Oh, let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah. So the last song, as I told you, has some roads, some fade out, good old fade out to end the album, to finish. This is a good finitude. So yeah, so well, thanks. It's a surreal mix of techniques and good tone. Thank you. Yeah, so it's a simple, kind of a simple song that I decided to add that guitar layer, like ostinato, right? Like keeps repeating with the hybrid picking kind of thing. And then the drums having those not consistent groove in a way, in a good way. Then I'm imagining, like, I remember like watching sometimes before recording. I remember this song specifically, not all the songs, but this song specifically, watching some live videos from Jeff Beck. To see him, to get inspired by that kind of touch, so because it's like how to find, how to be gentle and play with the thumb and the techniques, the little techniques that you can apply in the guitar to make the guitar sing, right? So yeah, this I remember like before recording, because it would be some songs that are very technical. You might record several times with just different takes. You try to be less organic, I would say, nowadays, at least, and because you know what you're gonna play, because you did it, you create the songs with a demo, and the demos are like pretty much what is the album. So then when you record the album, you try to kind of reproduce the demo in better quality, and choosing better the guitars, new strings, and better takes, and repeat as many times as necessary to have the best take. But then in the case of this song, if you start being too technical in this recording, using those recording techniques, you might lose what the most important thing for this kind of song, which is like this flow, this feeling. So I remember like, okay, let's watch some live videos from Jeff Beck and see how the way he plays, and this calmness and full control to play like a beautiful, simple melody. And that's I remember doing that and watching, and mainly because Adair, I'm a big fan of Jeff Beck, and I was I kind of grew up listening to him, and so Adair is more like a younger, and then maybe not so super familiar with the Jeff Beck. Of course he knows, but then it's like, okay, that's what I want here. So it's always good to watch a video and get into the mood, right? So that's sometimes that's what we do. It can be like watching an orchestra, something that kind of puts you in that mindset, because you're like, you're like doing all the stuff, you have like emails and messages on your phone, and kids and life. The life is happening, like the life is happening, and suddenly you have to be like, okay, now I'm gonna record my melody, and then how to put yourself into this zone, and fast. So sometimes like just listen to some music that you like, start talking about music, and then in this case of this song, I remember doing this, watching the Jeff Beck live videos. Yeah, and it's something that connects to you, as well, or listening to old music that I grew up listening to, or the stuff, Brazilian music, a lot of Brazilian music, or some fusion, some stuff that maybe the old guys don't know, Yeah, bends and vibratos. Yes, that's very important. I don't know. Some other players they kind of avoid the bends and stuff, and which is fine. It gives gives it's a new sound when you don't bend, But I think the guitar is so expressive when you use the bends and vibratos. So there's a lot of bends on this album, bends and vibratos. Like, that's kind of takes me to the old school guy, because like all modern players, the under 30 players, they don't bend much, in the metal, of course you have the blues guys, etc. How do I practice vibrato? I don't practice vibrato. I did, I think the vibrato is more an observation of how you can practice if you're beginner, intermediate, So the Guitar Academy I think we did like a master class only about bends and vibratos, and so this is important. But it's more important to look to, check the guitarists that you like, and it's like why you like that, let's say Gary Moore or Jeff Beck or Yngwie Malmsteen, or it's like, and check only the vibratos and the way they bend, the way they, and then you start combining those references, and intonation is very important, of course. And then at some point, you it's more like you understand how you feel, because the vibratos and bends are it's like how you feel controlling, because if you're like too anxious or too nervous or not sure what you're going to take, you tend to do like those fast vibratos that doesn't sound that great. So it's more about controlling, So in the end, it's more like an observation thing and not like a practice thing that would be if you practice scale. If you practice scale, it would be like up and down the scale all the time. The vibratos, maybe you can do that, but I think it's more like when you play and you look your videos, you listen to what you're playing, and it's like, oh, the vibratos are too anxious here, or the bends are out of tune, or, and then you watch those guitar masters and see how they do it, and then you try to copy them, Yeah. I see the question in Portuguese, but I will translate here. So about bringing my Brazilian elements to my composition, I think it's now like a natural thing, like the way I think the pulse, the way I think the accents, I refer to Brazilian music. So I don't have any percussion on the album. I don't have any super clear Brazilian rhythm or melody, but I think it's somehow there. I could point some references as well. I'm mentioning references like Jeff Beck or whatever, Satriani or Miles Davis, more international references, but I could go and show a lot of references from Brazilian music for my melodies, for the accents, for the way the song structure as well, Donnie, all right, so watching my online lessons, cool. The isolate right hand picking practice, yeah. So this is like in my Guitar Academy, you have some practice routine concepts there. So yeah, you have to isolate the right hand, And of course, the Guitar Hacks, which is a course inside the Guitar Academy. So how to practice in a specific period, which is like 1 hour. So this, like before recording, I use this method. I always create some variations sometimes, to be exciting, but I kind of follow that structure most of the time to be prepared for the recording, So and then before a tour, same thing, or if I'm in the hotel room and I need to warm up, I would kind of do the same thing that I talked there at the Guitar Academy. So yeah, that's important. Learning how to practice, not only practice, but how to practice, All right. Okay, guys. Let me see what else. What else? So you might see a bunch of guitars here. As I did a quick video that's gonna be on my channel next week. But basically, all the guitars that are here are the guitars that I used on the album. You know. So basically, I used the, you know, AZs. You know, a guitar like this one here. This Ibanez AZ. I use the Kiko 100 that is there, the red one, but this one here, Kiko 200. So 95% of the album's Ibanez. So mainly my Kiko 100, the red one, and also Sunburst that I have from the custom shop, and the Kiko 200. The clean, we tend to go always to this green, the Kiko 200 for the cleans. And leads I would, you know, change, really depending on the song. So AZ, this Koa, different wood, different pickups. This acoustic guitar here from Pirajá. Beautiful. So, and then the Strat. So I said I used some Strat, the custom shop Strat. There's one too, some melodies, and that a slide thing, some melodies here too. All right, so let's leave that. And 8 strings. That has no strings because I was cutting the strings. Anyways, so those are some of the guitars I use. So sometimes you have like Kiko 100, the red one there, and but then I have I would bring 2 or 3. They are exactly the same guitars, but sometimes it feels different. Sometimes you have this placebo factor. It feels like, oh, this guitar sounds better than this other one. But the next day is the opposite, you know. So it depends on the song, depends how you feel. But that's basically the Kiko 100, the Kiko 200. For leads, for rhythm, I have our G2 with Evertune for the rhythms. This one here. Well, too many guitars there. Anyways. So also like, and the AZs, like 3 or 4 different AZs. Even I got the guitar from my daughter. I don't remember if in the end I used to on the album. I don't think so. But she has a AZ that has a different pickup configuration. So I was like, why not? Let's try. Your composition starts with a melodic idea or trying some riffs. It depends on the song. You know, some songs it has like those heavy riffs at the start. As far as I remember, most of them started from the riff. You know, some other ones they start from a melody. You know, that I'm playing on the piano, that I'm playing on the acoustic guitar. You know, so it really depends. And then I like that because if you start a song from a riff, the song will take a specific shape. If you start from a very melodic thing, probably it will take a different direction. Probably. You know, maybe you add a fancy riff before the melody, so never know. But the starting point kind of dictates a little bit how the song will happen. You know, if the song is very melodic that I composed in the piano, like this last one, the Finitude, you have a different structure, probably a different vibe. Yeah. It's not about the gear. Exactly. That's what I say. It doesn't matter. I mean, you have to have a lot of guitars. So are you sure, Kiko? It's not about the gear. But when you're recording, I mean, you could do the whole album with, I mean, with one guitar and the 8 strings, you know. But it's just, it's yeah. Why not? You could change the pickups or the strings and. Um, but yeah, when you record, it's good to have more stuff. To become a great guitar player, you don't need a lot of guitars. When you're recording, um, it's good to have different tones, different styles of guitar to help you to go to different places. So yeah, different tools. So if you decide one day to record a song or an album, so it's good to have. But you can get, you can rent or you can call a friend that has all the guitars, and then it might be inspiring to. This is super normal to get extra guitars just for the recording, and then you don't need to own the guitars. So that's my point. It's not about the gear. And live, you need to have at least 2 guitars, right? Because if something happens with your main guitar, you need to have a spare guitar. If you use different tunings, you might have different guitars with the different tunings. Because you're not going to be tuning in the middle of the concert. So and then you might need a spare guitar for the other guitar with a different tuning. So of course you need gear. You need to have guitars available for the recordings. But they're just tools, Nobody keep asking like it's like asking a painter like what's the brand of your whatever the brushes you use, It's probably very important, but it's all about the art, The guitars is a tool to make art. It's not. Some people take the guitar as the final step of the art, So like, okay, this beautiful guitar, and then because of this beautiful guitar, I will play beautifully. It's not the way it works. All right, so we can keep going here, but question. Okay, that's another question here. Well, let's go for the last question here. Okay, so I Arvind Hayan. I am an advanced guitarist who knows theory, can improvise melodies in my head, but absolutely cannot translate it on the spot on the guitar. What do you do to break through those barriers? Okay, knowing theory is good. I love theory, and in the Guitar Academy we teach a lot of theory there. I guess I like saying names but. To be a creative person or a composer or writing songs is not about the theory. I think helps, but it's more like imagination and really connects the sounds with your feelings and the colors and ideas and names of the songs. I did some interviews about this album already, and then people like, how do you say this song or this riff is connected to the theory of mind or those names. I think this for me is like it is totally connected. It's because the word represents the feeling, and why not a chord or a melody represents the feeling as well. So because a word doesn't really means anything. At least they say like 7% of communication is based on the word, right, itself. So if you say no, I mean, you can say like, no, it's a no, because it's a no. But if it's like, no, maybe it's a yes, If you say no, it's like, what's happening, It's like, it has different meanings depending how you say. So I think this kind of imagination, like if you play A minor what do you see at that moment you play the A minor, and what kind of melody can you sing. And then if you're able to think something interesting in your head, like keep thinking and try to hum that melody. Sometimes it's hard to imagine something and hum that melody. I would try to think and keep thinking, keep imagining to have something a bit more consistent, and then you hum that melody or hum that idea. It can be even like or whatever, just try to get into your body to execute that idea, and then you go to your instrument, and then try to translate that to the instrument. So this is practice, but it's not like a practice of how do I practice this? It's like doing this every day, every moment. Sing a melody, sing something, imagine something, and try to sing or to hum, and then go to the instrument and try to play that thing. And then with all the theory that with the names, it might be, I'm singing this, I can use the dominant of this chord, I can use the plagal cadence, I can use the medians, I can use the the Lydian scale now, I can, so then you start adding the theory as well, somehow. So for me, it's all together. It's a mix, it's a mix. People need to learn how to harmonize melodies with chords. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, you can do it. You can try exercise like this. You sing a simple melody, like a 3-note melody, something very simple, and then you play the same melody with different chords and see how that melody sounds for that specific chords. So if you play F, G, A, and then under A minor is one thing, maybe not so good. Maybe over G is going to give you a different feeling. Over F, a different one, etc. D minor, B flat, So really, within the Guitar Academy, we talk about this. Actually, we did a masterclass about like harmonizing melodies, to expand that. There are some exercises to expand that perception, All right. We can go forever, start talking about music here. But so guys, thank you so much. Please share the album with your friends and keep listening to the album. Please like this video because we have a lot of people here and not as many likes so please do it. Leave a comment there. You have in the description box here, you have the link with the discount for the store, for the vinyls, for the CDs, signed CDs. Also a discount for the Guitar Academy as well if you want to join, if you're a guitar player and you want to have a closer contact with me, learning how to play, how to compose, how to practice, etc., etc. We have this nice group of guitar players and a Discord group and many courses and live streamings dedicated only for the students of the Guitar Academy. This Monday, we'll talk about this album again, Theory of Mind, but more towards the techniques and the songwriting process and the harmonies and the theory behind, not the theory of mind, but the theory behind the music of this album. Thank you so much. Again, I just want to thank everybody here and everybody that helped to create this album. Adair, Daufembach, Bruno Valverde, Felipe Andreoli, Gustavo Sazes for the artwork, Rika Wenzel for the photo. And thank you so much. Tomorrow I have the same with my Brazilian friends in Portuguese, and on Monday for the Guitar Academy. Thank you so much, guys, and yeah, see you around. Cheers.